Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our business sustainability talks. I'm Namrata and I run a company called Shiftyco, a platform that helps companies on their sustainability journey. While we are in the business of selling products, education and awareness is a very core aspect of Shiftyco, and that is why we run business sustainability talks. The aim of this series, Business Sustainability Talks, is to build a platform to get sustainability leaders to share their perspectives on sustainability and how they run sustainability in their industry with the aim of helping you understand and learn from others and also giving you a platform to ask questions. So the aim of the series is for all of those who've logged on online, please know that this is not just a session for us to chat, but it's for you to ask questions as well. So please feel free to ask questions. For those who could not join this session online and are now watching a recording, if you do have any questions that you'd like answered, feel free to write to us and we will get back to you. So without much ado, we should start with the session today. The session today is focusing on the role of education in shaping next generation sustainable leaders. And we have with us today Dr. Nada. Thank you so much for coming here today. And the aim of the session today is we're going to cover how academic institutions are embedding sustainability into their curriculums. How are they building this next generation of leaders? I'll give a quick introduction to Dr. Nada before we get started. I may not do justice to it, but I will attempt. So Dr. Nada is the head of ESG for Dubai, Mumbai, Singapore, Sydney at SP Jain School of Global Management. She has 25 years of experience in strategy, marketing, and ESG with global blue chip companies such as P&G, Colgate, Palmolive, Shell, and 15 plus years of experience in academia in Switzerland, teaching, research, etc. She's very passionate to bridge the gap between academia and industry to train responsible leaders that are ready for future jobs. And she works with a lot of internal and external stakeholders to drive ESG impact. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Nada, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So before we get started, maybe I know I've given a short formal introduction to your experience, but if you could tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started with sustainability.
So I started my career in marketing, working for blue chip companies, FMCG sector mostly. I worked for Shell, but then I moved to Procter & Gamble, Colgate, Palmolive, worked in marketing, brand management, managed some of the brands that people know globally, such as Tide, Ariel, Colgate, Supreme. And after working many years in the FMCG sector, I moved to academia, where I spent 15 years at the University of Geneva in Switzerland, teaching, doing research, collaborating with the industry as well. And about 4 years ago, I moved to Dubai. So I'm a marketer by background, in marketing and strategy. That's where my DNA, passion, career, early training lies in. Sustainability for me, so when I joined SP Jain, I joined as a professor, marketing strategy professor, and as well as an assistant dean for the executive MBA. So little did I realize that throughout my journey, I have been accumulating a lot of sustainability experience, a lot on the social aspect. When I was in Switzerland, so for example, when I was working for Procter & Gamble, my passion was always going and seeing how I can support consumers living in rural areas and trying to understand that consumers and trying to improve their lives through various initiatives. When I moved to Colgate, one of the big programs that I tried to get more budget for was the toothbrushing awareness for kids that are, coming from underprivileged backgrounds. Same thing, when I moved to Switzerland, there were a lot of initiatives around academic integrity that I was part of, and a lot of environmental initiatives that were embedded actually in my teaching and in my research as well. And so this came naturally. It was not intentional. Also, when I was in Switzerland, so I am a Rotarian, and I was a member of Rotary Geneva International, and initiated a project called Rise Up Girls to empower girls living in rural areas. And we launched it in Morocco, leveraging a lot of fundraising from Swiss donors. And the project now is almost finished. It was implemented. When SP Jain asked all of us to give a report of all the sustainability activities, I really found, I was surprised to see everything that's, that I had achieved along the way. And, there is a lot of awareness and practice being in Geneva, Switzerland, around the SDGs. So this is something that's so embedded. You don't even think about it as separate sustainability. And this is how I realized, everything that I had built along the way. And then SP Jain offered me to take this role that was being created, and I was very honored. And I think it's a privilege to really be paid to do good and be paid to improve the planet and to rebuild sustainable, responsible business leaders, responsible business for a sustainable future. And this is our motto at SP Jain. And this is what I've been working on for the past 2 years, and I'm very excited and passionate about it.
Yeah. No, thank you for that introduction. It sounds really exciting, and I think you're very right. Sustainability has been embedded in different aspects of work. And I think when you think back now, you're like, oh, wow, I was already doing that. And I think your diverse experience in different sectors and different roles helps you get that pragmatic approach to sustainability, and you understand how to embed it. So from your perspective, given you worked in different sectors, also in different regions, what difference do you see in how sustainability is approached in education globally?
So I'm very happy to see that there is educators have a high awareness about sustainability. Yeah. Yes, you are right. I do collaborate with educators in the region, but also educators in North America, educators in Europe, and I do see a very high level of awareness among this pool of of people who are really trying to do their best to really move the needle and get the impact. Now, what makes a difference is the environment where these educators are embedded.
Right.
So, for example, if you go to the US, you will see all the financial support that US professors and researchers have to really do more into that space, into sustainability. So obviously, they are able to, put in place a lot of certifications, a lot of programs, a lot of free trainings over there. In Europe, there is a high awareness, but Europeans are not, Americans are very good at, making money out of various programs, and also at getting, those pragmatic elements like certifications and online courses and so on. My experience with European faculty is that everybody's aware and everybody is really genuinely, authentically trying to move the needle in that space and doing everything they can as well. And then European context is of high support because there is a very high awareness in that space. And when I was working at the University of Geneva, companies were willing to support academia into moving the needle. And it was much easier to get companies to fund academia and to work with academia on moving the needle on sustainability and to engage with academia.
Right.
Here in the UAE, I am part of the university's climate network. We are 26, I think, institutions, or 32. I'm not sure now. We are 32.
Oh, lovely.
Getting together post-COP to really work together and move the needle. It's a little bit of a struggle because honestly, there is a lot that we are trying to do, but funding is a big issue for now in our region to really do more. Yeah. And even to engage our students in beach cleaning activities or in volunteering activities, it's a little bit of a challenge because it requires a lot of budget.
Yeah.
and which is not the case in Europe. For example, if you want to go and fundraise in Europe, it doesn't require a budget. If you want to do a cleanup, it doesn't require a budget. So here, financially, it's a little bit more difficult to engage students. But the institutions are there and they are involved. And I'm very proud to say that every time we have a Universities Climate Network event, we have more than 200 people connecting into these events. So there is a desire, there is a willingness, but we still need to be enabled a little bit more.
Fair enough. No, I think different regions, some are playing more catch up than others. But I also think the business landscape has changed, right? Earlier, business schools were churning out leaders who were looking at profit. Now there's a shift with profit and, taking the planet into account as well. So what do you think, why do you think this is the most important time to make that shift, to make responsible leaders?
So it is very important because we cannot wait for things to get super bad before acting. We have already trespassed the boundaries of our Earth. It's looking really bad and it's worse year on year. We see isolated events here and there. We saw the floods that happened last year in Dubai, so that's a reality. I was in Switzerland last weekend. There is a village that completely disappeared, Blatten, because of all these the glaciers that are melting. So for now, we have isolated events here and there, and we think we still have time. There was this TED talk by this expert talking about planetary boundary that says that once things get really bad and we start having many events, it's going to take us at least 5 years to course correct. So it is very important, and I'm very happy and proud to be here in the UAE because there is, I manage our campuses in Dubai, Mumbai, Singapore, and Sydney, and we have to look at the laws that are coming up in these campuses. I can say that the UAE law, federal law, is the most strict one, whereby everybody now needs to report, even in these free zones. So I'm very happy that the UAE has taken this first step, which is a very, aggressive first step that will really push all companies to upskill and to start measuring so that we know where carbon emissions are coming from. So we start working together on that reduction plan.
So I totally agree. I think the UAE, there's a lot of movement, especially post-COP. You see a lot of companies also wanting to do a lot more, and the law is pushing it a lot. But now if we take a step back and we think of this next generation business leader, what does the next generation business leader look like for you?
So for me, the next sustainable leader should be someone who is, first of all, aware of the challenges. I think awareness is very important. You cannot act if you don't know what you are talking about. It's very important to develop the expertise and the knowledge about various areas. Sustainability is a very complex domain, and nobody is really an expert. We are all have different backgrounds, different expertise. So we should continue learning and building that awareness. So first of all, awareness is very important. Second of all, for me, you cannot be a good leader if you don't have that empathy. You cannot just do it from the regulatory perspective. So I am part of many business groups here, and I see a lot of leaders talking about compliance. That's the wrong approach. So the right approach is really because regulations will change. So the right approach is really to have that empathy towards the environment, towards the people, and to really understand what is it that these difficulties represent for various communities, various challenges. And this is how you can preempt future issues and future risks. Then you have to be an ethical and responsible leader who is aware of profits. So if you go to Geneva, Switzerland, everybody's like, forget about profit, let's go for planet. In COP28, I was part of panels, and I had a lot of people from NGOs. They're like, why are they talking about profit? This is not a real life scenario. We are a business school. I come from the business background. So our approach is not that we should forget about profit. Our approach is people, planet, and profit. All three of them are very important. So a good leader should be balanced, should really know how to balance all three, because at the end of the day, companies need to deliver, shareholder returns to investors, and that's a reality, and that's the world we live in. So the idea is, instead of challenging the world we live in, is to adopt an innovative approach within this context to really make it happen within this context. Also, next-gen leaders should have amazing leadership skills.
Right.
Because this is not something that you need to convince people every day. And all of us who work in sustainability,
you're always convincing people.
We're always convincing people. I was like, oh, yeah, sustainability. Like, we need to move the needle. There is a lot of research that shows awareness alone is not enough to move action. And there is a lot of action-intention gap. So if the next-gen leader has a leadership position, then they need to be able to have those leadership skills to convince various stakeholders, whether it's customers, whether it's the board of directors, whether it's the employees. So this is our everyday realities.
Yes.
And also should be KPI oriented, because sustainability, if you don't measure it, it doesn't happen. So to move the needle, we need to measure, we need to have quantitative objectives as well, and develop expertise.
I really like the thing that you say, move the needle, and I think that's very apt. Whenever I've spoken to people in different industries, sustainability leaders, everyone's talked about making a business case for sustainability, because the profit part is definitely very important too. It has to be a balance. So what do you think is, how can you meaningfully embed sustainability into education so that people can actually make these business cases for sustainability?
So the business cases, first of all, from the corporate perspective, I'm going to start from the corporate perspective, because this is an important one. Yes, making the business case for sustainability is not something that's easy within the corporate settings. The companies that really managed to do it are companies like Mahindra in India. And what they did is that they created an innovation lab and have given the opportunity to many of the employees to come up with new ideas, explore it, and this allowed them to incubate a lot of the good profit-making ideas, and this is how they really make a business case for sustainability. Now, the issue is that companies don't really share among each other these success stories, because companies are still having that competitive mindset. So we are encouraging companies to share their success stories, and so that others can learn, and then we could move the needle together. From our perspective, what we try to do is, for example, in SP Jain, is to get business leaders ready for such challenges. So first of all, awareness, again, is very important. And to get them emotionally engaged with the sustainability. First of all, make them work on various sustainability cases, make them interact with people from the industry. But most importantly, it's very important to instill in them leadership skills and innovation skills.
Right.
That sustainability often involved redesigning processes, redesigning products, redesigning the way we do business, a lot of redesign. So we do give them courses, for example, in design thinking, and give them these challenges to redesign the way business is done, for example. We also do offer them opportunities to design their own events. So giving them leadership opportunities within the curriculum is something that encourages these students to take the lead on these sustainability initiatives. So at SP Jain, we decided not to offer a degree in sustainability. Our vision is that sustainability is going to be integrated everywhere in all jobs, and this is what we're seeing. It's like AI, you know. It's like, yes, there are the IT experts, so there will be the sustainability experts, but most importantly, when you leave it to the sustainability expert, then they're like, it's not my business. It's their business to figure it out. But embedding it into every single job, like in finance, in marketing, in operations, in HR, makes it as such that these students are skilled in all these multiple domains, and they have that, and this develop their curiosity on how can they act within their
Yes.
job
Yes.
once they get a job or an internship to really move the needle at their level and
Right.
not wait for it to come top down.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think to make a culture, to build a sustainable culture, it has to come from all functions and it has to be embedded at different levels. Otherwise, it becomes like this is really not my problem. It's something that the sustainability department is part of. And I think that's why I like the approach that you all have taken, where it's embedded in all your courses. In your experience, what is the, what is the resistance you've received for embedding sustainability?
So the resistance often comes from people who don't understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Again, the resistance comes from when people have a tick the box mentality. So they don't have that awareness, they don't have that empathy. They're like, yeah, we have to do it, so let's just do it. And then you have to convince them every time why you should do it. Another resistance comes from not so agile institutions.
Right.
Sometimes institutions are, take time to move and they're not really agile. And
Yeah.
same as AI, this requires change and this requires redesign.
Yeah.
So, and also, so when I say, so for example, 90% of the companies here in the UAE are SMEs. And I've been in many events from Dubai Chambers or other conferences. And one of the things that these SMEs are, they still need to be more, educated about what is it. And they're still scared. They're like, oh, this is going to cost me so much. How can I need to hire an extra person and I need to, buy this software and what is it that I need to do? So also resistance comes from the fact that we don't have enough use cases of sustainability as a profit-making, opportunity. Still, we are not selling it properly, or we're not positioning it properly to these SMEs to be encouraged to do it. For now, they are motivated by fear of the consequences. So I think, education is very important, and creating these ecosystems of SMEs for them to work together to really move the needle and support each other. So the systems of support. And also the other resistance comes from governance. Sometimes you have companies or institutions where leadership wants to go for it, but then you don't have the internal proper governance mechanisms to really embed it, and people see it, oh, this is extra work, I need to do this, oh, no, it's more. So, and again, in my work, I do a lot of positioning, a lot of internal marketing.
Your marketing background comes handy in that regard.
It comes very handy. And actually, I was talking to a sustainability expert, and I told him, I was like, I'm from a marketing background, and, I'm getting into that space. There's a lot to learn, so I had to get certified and so on. And then he told me, actually, the marketing people are very good at sustainability because you need to market a lot what you do to convince people to bring that awareness.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think it's a lot of skills needed where I'm sure your marketing skills have come very handy. So if you look at it, there's a shift that's happening, and there is, of course, sustainability is originally viewed as a nice to have. Now there's a lot more focus on it, given the the laws changing and also the fact that climate change is real. We are facing the consequences of it. What do you think is an ideal way of embedding sustainability? So if you're embedding sustainability in all your different courses, how are you doing it, and how do you make sure it's impactful?
So, so I can speak. So embedding it, we do this. We have, our curriculum, our program that has been redesigned by our deans, and trying to really see what are the material topics for every course. But just curriculum and cases is not enough. So for me, students should be also encouraged to go out there and then be with the industry,
Right.
exchange with the industry, get engaged with the industry. I think there's a lot of cross-fertilization to be had.
Yeah.
What I notice when I go with our schools, or even yesterday, I was delivering a sustainability session with high school. Here, schools in the UAE are really doing a fantastic job in terms of sustainability awareness, K-12 schools. So there is a lot of cross-fertilization because there's a lot that the youth can teach us
Yes.
about sustainability.
Yeah.
And there is an opportunity for reverse coaching from the youth that we should leverage.
Yeah.
And this is the feedback that I get when we organize competitions or presentations. The sustainability leaders themselves who come, they say, "Wow, this is very refreshing to see all these, ideas and this innovative approaches." So for me, it's very important to connect academia with the industry.
Right.
Unfortunately, the problem we are facing here is that there is so much pressure on people from the industry. Time is becoming super scarce.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that people don't even have time to properly, grow, and they are just, into delivering. I just read even, an article by a doctor who said we don't even have time anymore to give proper empathy to our patients because we have all these, time limits on how much we can talk to a patient. So we need to create more space for this cross-fertilization. We need to give an opportunity to people in the industry to grow also to that space, despite having all this pressure on profits. Now we have AI that can support us in doing some of the tasks faster, so maybe this is going to free up some time.
Yeah.
So for me, this cross-fertilization is very important. Giving an opportunity for students to go and do these externships, to be industry relevant, I think it's very important. And to give them leadership opportunities where they can go and really prove to the industry that they can really make an impact. They can really improve. For us, we still have qualitative measures in terms of how this is impacting our students. We do see a lot of our students who are graduating being able to get the jobs because they have that sustainability expertise that other students don't have. So it's a differentiating factor, same as AI.
Right.
It is a differentiating factor. We also measure our success in terms of how many students approach me, for example, and want to do sustainability events.
Okay.
I do also measure the success in seeing, in every batch we have a sustainability committee.
Okay.
And I was very proud to see that I had more members than other committees
Oh, lovely.
in the sustainability committee. So
Nice.
more students want to come and engage and move the needle on that committee. So this is how much we measure in terms of engagements.
Okay.
Student engagement, yeah.
So sustainability is a mindset, and I guess you're cultivating that mindset amongst your students. So what could be these key aspects of this mindset that you're nurturing?
So the first mindset that I'm trying to nurture is, in addition to awareness, but in terms of mindset, giving the students that self-confidence that they can make an impact at any level, any time. Often students are young, they feel very intimidated, they have beautiful energy. It's such a delight to work with the youth. Beautiful energy, beautiful curiosity. They see things from an outside the box perspective. So the mindset we are trying to nurture is to really give them that self-confidence that you don't be intimidated by all the things you don't know. You are actually more proficient in AI and ChatGPT than most of these grown-ups. So adopt these AI tools, of course, in a very academic, honest way. But you can upskill yourself really fast because you have that center of expertise there that can really support you if you lack some knowledge.
Yeah.
And then giving them that mindset that I can make a difference at any age. I just need to pick where I want to make an impact. That's the first thing. The second mindset is not to make them as adversaries. Often the youth, they can easily become like advocates and against the system and
like a revolution.
yeah,
sort of,
like revolutionary mindset, like, Greta Thunberg kind of.
yeah.
I mean, some people choose to dedicate their life to this kind of, the advocacies. And I'm not judging anyone here, but with our students, because we are a management school,
Yes.
the idea is we encourage them more to integrate the system and give them the tool to change the system from within.
Yes.
So to tell them that actually, yes, it's good to have a critical thinking, but at the end of the day, if you want to change a system, you have to integrate the system and then understand how the system works. And then start exercising, using your emotional intelligence to really change that system. And in this regard, because we live in the age of AI, of course, we have to talk about AI.
Yeah.
So while we upskill our students with AI skills, we also now, as faculty at SP Jain, we are using AI a lot in our courses. AI tutor to support us with pre-learning. This gives us a lot of free time in our sessions to work on soft skills and human skills.
Right.
And these are very important for sustainability. Emotional intelligence, systems thinking, how to conflict management, public speaking, so that our students are equipped from that angle when they go out there to really, have the tools necessary to move the needle from within.
So I think I agree with you. One part is definitely the mindset. The second is the awareness aspect, which sometimes includes theoretical ESG frameworks. So how do you make your students relate to these theoretical concepts so they can use these theoretical frameworks in a more practical manner when they're entering the workforce?
So for us, it's very important. I mean, we are a very pragmatic, global business and management school. And for us, yes, theory is very important, but we have to distinguish, theoretical concepts are very good to build critical thinking and to, philosophize and to get that level of abstraction that allows you to strategize. But at the end of the day, you have to come down and to be pragmatically able to also apply some of these frameworks. So we do have that idea about, academia being only theoretical. This is not what we practice at SPJ. We have a balance of both. And a lot of our professors are actually pracademics like myself.
Okay.
So I have a PhD from the University of Geneva, which is, where I've done a research and so on, very theoretical. But I worked for corporates as well. So this is an approach we really value. And the way what we do is that all the projects that my students get are embedded in practice. And a lot of the time, like I was teaching ethics and sustainability back in November. And I gave my students mini projects to work on, and they came back and presented it in front of an industry jury, and they have gotten the feedback from the industry jury.
Right.
So, of course, I was there to support them, but I wanted them to hear the feedback from the industry. So what we do, we are always bringing people from the industry, organizing these confrontations between the students' output and the industry. And this is for me, very important to stay relevant. And also, you can tell the students so many things, and then you're like, yeah, this is what you have to do. But the reality check is when somebody from the industry comes and says, sustainability is very critical, this is important, you need to, present better, or you need to, do more research in relation to data, or to appreciate, or when they are appreciated also, for example, for their AI skills.
Right.
I had somebody from the industry come in my marketing course and ask the students about, it was in healthcare, so how can we improve the health through these, campaigns and products? And he was very much impressed because the students have gotten a logo, a concept. It was a live session, and the breakout was 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, they had built a website. They had built digital assets for social media. They had built a PowerPoint presentation. They were like, I think, 8 students in the group. because they had all these digital AI tools that the senior person was not even using or aware of. So yeah, these confrontations really allow this, cross-fertilization that is important.
I think you actually jumped to my second part, which is industry and academia and bridging that gap. And I think in many aspects, you're already doing that. But how do you think industry and academia could do better together to prepare these students for these impact-driven careers?
I think it's very important that the industry works with us. At least in this region, industry is not working enough with academia. It is a pity. This is not something. I was before in the U.S., Europe, in this region. This is a big gap. And then they complain. They say, well, we can't really give internships. It takes too much of our time. So give externships, give projects. Industry needs to, value here in this region, academia a little bit more and collaborate more with academia.
Right.
We are trying to do this at SP Jain on an individual level. Our students are asked to deliver a consultancy and industry projects at the end of their program, master's program. It's a 4-month project where students do research and there are multiple rounds of feedback. This really works very well because many of them actually end up getting internships out of this project because it's a good transition. So I think the industry should really allocate some time to give these projects, those externships, and collaborate with us on getting, these talent ready for the jobs that are, that are in this region. Yeah. And I think we should have an edge because now it's open to everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't have enough here locally. And now everybody can get an internship in Dubai, which is good overall. But we need more opportunities in that regard. Yeah.
Right. So if I were to ask you, Dr. Nada, where do you see sustainability education 5 years from now? What do you think it would look like? And how do you think it'll evolve?
Well, I think it's going to become more and more important because unfortunately we are still not doing the right thing by the planet. And I think unfortunately for now it feels like a luxury. Let's talk about these brands and their packaging and but it's going to move more into crisis management and risk management, unfortunately.
In some companies, they do that. The risk management team is doing sustainability.
All companies now are doing it. And, the UAE has promised some penalties for companies. So we're looking forward to seeing these penalties come to life. Because that's the way, really, to move the needle. Because unfortunately, a lot of companies who tried, so like to do more in terms of sustainability, investors penalize them or so regulation is very good, and I think we're going to hear more about sustainability in the future just because it's going to become more and more material for companies. There is a World Economic Forum that just came out about the business risks, and I think 2 out of the 10 most prominent business risks in the next 2 years are environmentally, but in the next 10 years, 5 out of the 10 are going to come from our environment. Yeah. So these are very serious risks, and they're going to really jeopardize, how businesses operate. Yeah. And we're going to hear more, I think, about this everywhere in academia and everywhere. So it's time to upskill yourself to stay relevant.
Yes. No. I think like people say, keep yourself up to date with AI, even keeping yourself abreast about sustainability. No matter what the role is absolutely critical.
There is a lot of pressure on learning, actually. Learning is becoming very, very important. And, one of the biggest actually blockers for AI adoption is how much people are willing to learn fast. So the fast learners are going to be the ones with jobs in the future. So those who are really, and this is the advice I give to, all my business partners. I say, is Friday a quiet time for you in the office? From 8 to 10 a.m., block it in your agenda and learn for 2 hours a week. And then you're going to see your, learning building up. So learn, and evolve, because this is what the future requires. It requires us to move really fast, to learn really fast, and even us as professors,
Yeah.
we have to upskill ourselves every
All the
day
time.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because things is changing and everything is changing. The world of work is changing.
Yeah.
Everything is moving too fast.
I teach digital marketing 4 times a year. Every time I teach it, something new pops up.
Yeah, yeah.
We can no longer keep the same course.
I think our digital marketing team would say the same. Has to really keep herself up to date. So, Dr. Nada, if you got a chance to redesign sustainability education, what would that look like?
For me, less classroom and more outside. Classroom is important, but now we can do flipped classrooms also, because we have AI to support pre-learning.
Yeah.
For me, this is amazing that I don't waste my time anymore in my courses describing basic concepts. So the basic concepts students can learn on their own using our AI tutor at SP Jain. That supports, these basic concepts. And I use more the classroom for interaction, application. And I wish we had more time to take the students outside of the classroom, go to companies, do real cases, more experiential learning. I think this is something that's very important.
Yeah.
And I think this is what the future of sustainability should look like. This is how I see it. More experiential learning, working with companies on students coming and working on real life projects with their teams, and developing some innovative, creative ideas. So more hands-on.
More hands-on, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you wanted us, if you wanted to give us any advice about what one change can each of us make in how we teach, work, or lead that contributes to a more sustainable future, what would that be?
I think so awareness obviously is very important. We need to keep on spreading the word and educating, because many people say, I want to do something. Tell me, what can I do? So spreading the word, talking about it, having some objectives. I think just being aware is not enough. Research is showing this. Awareness is not enough to move the needle. Actually, what really makes a difference is when we are coming together as a community and say, okay, we as community, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve, and setting objectives for ourselves. So for me, spreading the word about, and giving people options and not being judgmental. I see a lot of pessimists, being very judgmental. Oh, you don't do this, you don't do that. Well, look at what I'm trying to do, as well. So setting objectives, and how are you going to make an impact, measuring your objectives. If you decide to reduce, for example, eating meat, you can say, every Monday I'm not eating meat, for example.
Yeah.
Or if you decide to reduce your travel, you say, I'm only going to travel 3 times a year, take the plane 3 times a year. Or say only shorter destination versus longer destination. So really take the time to think about it for your own life, and setting that objective and spreading the word so that others can join.
Yeah.
And talking about it. I think that's very important. And also integrating groups and communities of sustainability. I think we do more when we come together.
Yes.
And this is something that is proven by research.
Yes.
Is just that if we are aware and we are alone, it doesn't work as good as if we are aware and we come together with a group and we start saying, oh, let's do this weekend activity around, beach cleanup, or let's collect plastic waste, or so this works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the power of collective action is huge. And I see now in the UAE a lot of people coming together to amplify the sustainability message. I see a lot of professionals collaborating, not competing, which is also a nice change. And I see that with SMEs as well, which is quite nice. Where do you see the UAE going in terms of sustainability in the next 5-6 years, given the law is going to come into effect, given there has been a lot of movement in the space in the last 5-6 years? Where do you see it going now ahead?
So one of the things that everybody says about the UAE, whenever I talk to anyone in the ecosystem, they're like, when the UAE decides they want to do something, they do it. And we trust that process. So for now, we don't have a clear direction. We're still waiting for those objectives to come out. But we have the most strict law, which
Yeah.
is already great. And by putting in place that federal law that makes it mandatory for everybody to report, I think UAE is signaling how serious it is about this, and that once this is done, then they're gonna start setting objectives of carbon emissions reduction. So I do see that improvement is going to be there, just because UAE has a track record of achieving the objectives it has set to itself. And I do see a lot of movement around sustainability, a lot of prioritization. I was very happy to see, if you go to Europe or US now, nobody wants to talk about diversity and inclusion. It's like becoming this taboo, whereas 1 year ago it was like
all
a
about
priority.
it. Yes, yes.
Well, luckily here in the UAE, this has not affected us. We still talk about diversity and inclusion and about women empowerment. So that's also comforting to see that we have our own direction, and that we're working towards our own objectives and values, and not letting ourselves being led astray by some political, changes.
Exactly. No, there is political changes really do spark a lot, and we can see that globally what's going on. We have a few questions online. So we have some from Sonam. Have you seen any student-led initiatives that particularly inspired or surprised you?
Oh, my students inspire me every day. Thank you for that question. It's amazing the level of energy that the youth has. I encourage everyone to work with the youth, guys. You should work with the youth. It's not the same dynamic as the office dynamic. And every time corporates come to us at SP Jain, participate to an event, this is so refreshing. So our master's students, 2 months ago, actually in May, they came to me, I think in Jan, and they're like, Dr. Nada, we want to organize the Sustainability Championship. So this is where awareness comes into place, because they were aware of SDGs. They were aware of the UAE having the year of the community, this year being the year of community. And they're like, we want to organize the UAE Sustainability Championship across institutions. So I said, of course. I supported them, so we were meeting every week, and then I was giving them project guidelines. Okay, guys, you need to finish this. Let's move to this. And they organized the most beautiful competition, and I have the video of this competition on my LinkedIn page, where they actually went door to door to 16 institutions and convinced their teams to apply for this championship. This was shortly listed to 12 institutions because we had a limit. We could only have, I think, 18 teams maximum participate, because the jury was from the industry and we wanted quality interaction. So I think we had 56 applications from 16 higher education institutions, narrowed down to 12 institutions, 18 applications, and then we did the championship. It was on 1 week. Students went and worked on various initiatives, and what was really beautiful, not only this competition was beautiful, but at the end, when we finished the presentation, all the students came and said that this was really a transformative journey. And this is where you see, all these institutions coming together, students for 1 week, competing with each other. But at the time, even if they didn't win, they were very happy, because they saw all the beautiful projects that came out. And the students also that organized this felt very much rewarded, because, everyone spent 1 week working on these ideas. Also, the jury from the industry, and we had, I think, about 14 jury members, top sustainability officers, were also transformed to see all this energy and all these creative ideas out there. So
I'm waiting to see this video, Dr. Nada.
I'll show it after we finish. It's on my phone.
We have another question. What are some unlearning moments students or professionals need to go through to become effective sustainability leaders?
The biggest unlearning you guys need to do is unlearn your fears. It's crazy how much people let their fears and their preconceived beliefs limit them, limiting beliefs and fears. The world is limitless. We have social media, we have AI, we have a world of possibilities. And yet, many people let their fears block them from taking that first step. Many people are afraid to fail. And actually, what I always tell my students is that failure is the first step to learning. So it's okay. Either you do something great or you fail and you learn and you move forward. And I always give examples to do all these amazing entrepreneurs. I mean, they all failed. People think because of social media and the beautification of life that, oh, everything comes easy. No, believe me. People who have succeeded have worked super hard, have failed many times. So if you want to achieve something nice, please fail as many times as possible. This is how you will learn.
I like that unlearning advice. It's so counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
No, that's really interesting. We have another question. What are the upcoming sustainability related initiatives at SP Jain that you're excited about?
So I'm very much excited about one of our. So this is how we do it as SP Jain. We have the curriculum, we have the academia, we have the faculty, we have our partners, but also we have our student sustainability committees. And we have a sustainability committee in every cohort.
Okay.
This week we are having orientation for one cohort that is coming from Singapore and another one that is, I think, coming from Mumbai. And we're going to bring all these energies together and we're going to set the plan for this term. So I really like to give the students, I don't like to tell the students what they need to do. I really like them to come up with their own ideas, their own way of seeing things and their own actions. And this is what we're going to be designing for next term. I'm meeting them next week to do this. So I'm very excited and looking forward to the initiatives that they're going to come up with, they're going to be motivated about. When they were in Singapore, for example, they organized the beach cleanup in Singapore, they organized the food donation, and for the World Environment Day, they did many cool reels to educate around sustainability. One of the great initiatives we just did is with the Zaid Foundation for the Environment. It was an art exhibition, and our students volunteered for this art exhibition, and it was amazing to, we are a business school and you think, wow, you know, business school and art, what does it have to do with it? And the students really, their job was to take the visitors around our art exhibition and to interpret those artistic pieces and to storytell around how these art pieces can really change the way we see ourselves and how we build a relationship with the environment. Beautiful narratives, beautiful storytellings, transformative journeys for our students to really, I talked about the empathy. And then for those of you who are wondering, SP Jain School of Global Management, what does it have to do with art? So during, you know, we received a recognition from the Zaid, you know, Foundation for the Environment. And then I met a banker. You know, from private banking. And I was like, oh, you are here. He's like, yeah, art for us is super important. And this is great that the students know about art because in private banking, we have a lot of art exhibition and this is a differentiating factor for students to work for us.
Right.
So, and last point, one of the things, so don't think that it's not connected. Everything is interconnected. And one of the things I'm most excited about is our initiatives in southern Mumbai that's happening on September. And our students are going to be visiting these below poverty level schools. We're running a pilot. Actually, our social project at SP Jain is to equip below poverty level schools in India with our AI tutor, which is our proprietary technology. That it's basically an avatar that supports student learning based on our own curriculum. So we have been training the faculty of one of the municipality schools there to leverage the AI tutor to support them with their teaching. The biggest problem in India where we have that digital divide is a hardware issue. Yeah. Kids don't have devices. There is one phone for 5 family members.
Yeah.
And actually at SP Jain we have equipped the first school, we are equipping it with tablets so that students can have access to the device, to the AI tutor to boost their education. And then we're bringing through Rotary the Rise Up Girls and Boys program. And we're going to be visiting this school. Our students are going to be visiting this school in September and delivering workshops about emotional intelligence, about public speaking, and about AI to upskill them and show them the importance. For us, it was very important to take the youth and not only old faculty, but to really take the youth to talk to them, because from the pilot we have done in Morocco, we noticed that they open up more to the youth. So I'm very excited about our social projects and really visiting the school and seeing how we can bring in more impact.
That sounds fantastic, and I can't wait to hear from you how the pilot goes. I think there's so much impact that can be created by these projects. In the interest of time, we'll now have to wrap up. But before we do, are there any last words that you'd like to tell the audience? Is there any last advice that you'd like to give?
So the last advice is, please do something now. Act now. Even if it's something small, do something. Take some time to sit and think, maybe next time I need to buy a shirt or a dress. Maybe I'm not going to buy that extra black, shirt or extra black dress, and maybe make a small donation of somebody in need. But don't think that it's somebody else's problem. It's all our problem, and we should all just do something, and even if it's small, to make an impact. And we can. Even if you're a primary student, or if you are a senior professional, if you're retired, anyone can make an impact. And we need everybody's job, because just leaving it to the companies and to the government is not enough. We also need to get involved.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Nada. I really enjoyed this session. I don't know where the hour flew by. Your passion is quite infectious. So thank you so much for sharing all your wonderful experiences and your advice about sustainability. I'm sure everyone who logged online and who will be watching this episode also really enjoyed this session. So thanks a lot for taking the time and for all your advice, Dr. Nada.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a great opportunity to spread more awareness.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And the work you're doing is fantastic.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nada. Thank you for everyone joining. We run the Business Sustainability Talks every other month. So please follow us on LinkedIn and keep yourself updated. If there are specific topics or specific things that you'd really like to hear about, don't hesitate to write to us. We want to make sure we are touching upon relevant topics. So please do get in touch with us. Again, thank you and have a great day.